February 2026. The West Philippine Sea. The water here is usually a deep, forgiving blue. For a fisherman like Jose, this ocean is not just a workplace. It is a cathedral. It is where his father taught him to read the wind. It is where his grandfather taught him that the sea gives and the sea takes. Jose sits in his banca, a small, fragile wooden boat held together by hope and bamboo outriggers. He is alone. The silence is beautiful. It is the sound of a simple life. But today, the silence is lying to him. It starts as a vibration in his chest, a low-frequency hum that travels through the water, up the wooden hull, and into his bones. Jose looks up. The sun, which was burning his neck just a moment ago, is suddenly gone. A shadow has fallen over his world. It is a wall of steel, a container ship so massive it looks like a city block has decided to float. It is moving with the kind of speed that suggests it doesn't care who or what is in its way. Jose stands up. He waves. He screams.
Slow down, please!
He begs for mercy. Slow down, please. But a monster does not listen to an ant. The ship cuts through the water. Jose knows what's coming. He braces himself. The bamboo outrigger, dried by the sun and weakened by salt, snaps with a sickening crack. The boat flips. The ocean rushes into his lungs. As Jose gasps for air, fighting the churning foam, he watches the monster sail away. It is indifferent. It is cold. But as the massive ship turns slightly, revealing its stern, Jose sees something that hurts more than the salt in his eyes. There, hull number 892. Built in Cebu, made in the Philippines. Jose screams, a sound of pure, absolute despair, because he realizes the truth. The wave that drowned him was created by a hull welded by his own brother. The steel that crushed his bamboo was forged on his own shores. Jose wasn't killed by a foreign enemy. He was crushed by his own country's industrial power, a power that was sold to someone else. Let's stop the tears for a moment. Dry your eyes. Because if we want to understand why Jose is drowning, we cannot rely on emotion. We need to look at the cold, hard, and frankly, shocking data. The world, and perhaps even you, thinks of the Philippines in a very specific, limited way. When economists talk about this country, they talk about nurses in London. They talk about domestic helpers in Hong Kong. They talk about the smiling customer service agents in the BPO towers of Manila. The world sees the Philippines as a service economy, a nation of helpers. The world is wrong, and if you believe that, you are wrong too. Look at the industrial data. Look at the gross tonnage output. The Philippines is not just a collection of islands. It is the fourth largest shipbuilding nation on the planet. Let that sink in. Number 4, bigger than Germany. Bigger than the United States, bigger than the United Kingdom. In the hierarchy of nations that build the giants of the sea, it goes China, South Korea, Japan, and then the Philippines. In the deep water bays of Subic, in the industrial zones of Cebu and Batangas, there are dry docks that are so large they can swallow aircraft carriers whole. Every single year, Filipino hands cut, bend, and weld millions of tons of steel to build bulk carriers, container ships, and oil tankers that fuel the global economy. Think of Christian, the welder we met in our last story. When Christian holds a welding torch, he is not just a worker, he is an artist of metallurgy. The integrity of a Filipino weld is legendary in the maritime world. It is precise, it is resilient, it holds the world together against the fiercest storms in the Pacific. So here is the painful, burning question. The question that should keep every politician and every citizen awake at night. If you are the fourth largest builder of ships on Earth, why do your fishermen still paddle on bamboo? If you have the technology to build a 200,000-ton cargo vessel, why is your Navy forced to buy second-hand patrol boats from other countries? The answer is a tragedy of economics. It is because you have become industrial mercenaries. The shipyards in Subic and Cebu are on Philippine soil, yes. The sweat that drops onto the steel is Filipino sweat, yes. But look at the names on the gates. Hanjin, Tsuneshi, Keppel. The capital is foreign, the blueprints are foreign, the intellectual property is foreign, and most importantly, the profit is foreign. You are the muscle economy applied to heavy industry. You provide the hands, but you are forbidden from using the brain. You build the throne, but you are not allowed to sit on it. You build fleets for Panama, for Liberia, for Japan. You build the very supply chains that other nations use to dominate you. You are the blacksmith who forges the sword, only to hand it to the knight who points it at your throat. But it wasn't always this way. And this is the part of the story that hurts the most. This is the part where we have to blow the dust off your history books and look at who you used to be. Rewind the clock. Go back 400 years. Before there was Maersk, before there was Evergreen, before there was global containerization, there was the Manila Galleon. For 250 years, the Philippines was not a passenger in the global economy. You were the captain. You were the center of the world. Picture the Pacific Ocean in the 1600s. It was a terrifying, unknown void. And crossing that void was the Manila Galleon, the castles of the sea. These were not fragile little boats. These were the largest, most complex engineering marvels of their time. And where were they built? They were built in Cavite. They were built in Bagatao. They were carved from Philippine hardwood, molav and teak, wood so dense and so strong that early cannonballs would simply bounce off the hull. The anchors were forged by Filipino blacksmiths who knew the secrets of fire and iron long before the Industrial Revolution. The rigging was woven by Filipino hands. The navigators who read the stars were sons of the archipelago. In those days, when the traders from Canton and Fujian arrived in Manila, they looked up at your ships with fear and envy. Their flat-bottomed junks looked like toys next to the galleon. You controlled the trade route that connected Asia to the Americas. The silver of Mexico flowed through your veins to buy the silk of China. Geography was your destiny. Look at the map today. Really look at it. God did not place the Philippines on the edge of the world. He placed you in the center. You sit at the exact intersection of the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. You are the gatekeeper of the busiest maritime highway on Earth. Trillions of dollars of trade pass by your front door every single year. You have the perfect geography. Deep water harbors protected by mountains, a natural fortress designed for maritime dominance. You have the perfect legacy, a history of building the best ships in the world. And you have the perfect workforce, a young, hungry, technically skilled population that powers the industries of other nations. You have all the ingredients of a superpower, but you are cooking like a colony. Somewhere along the way, the lion forgot how to roar. The lion convinced itself it was a kitten. You traded the vision of the Galleon for the paycheck of the OFW. You stopped building ships for yourself and started begging others to protect you. But history is not a straight line. History is a wheel. And sometimes, if you push hard enough, the wheel turns. We need to call Christian home. We need to tell the engineers in Ansan, the architects in Dubai, and the welders in Subic to stop building someone else's dream. Imagine if the muscle economy stopped serving the world and started serving the home. The blueprints are there, the dry docks are ready, the steel is waiting. The only thing missing is the audacity to believe that you belong at the head of the table. Now, let's travel forward. Let's create a new memory. Let's go to the year 2035, the West Philippine Sea. The sun is rising, painting the water in chrome and gold. The air is salty, but it smells different. It smells of sovereignty. On the surface, bobbing in the waves is a small, illegal fishing trawler. On the deck stands Wang. He has fished in these waters for years with impunity. He feels he owns this sea. He believes the dotted line on his map is stronger than the law. He is pulling a net, stealing the catch that belongs to Jose's grandchildren. He is arrogant. He is comfortable. But then the water begins to tremble. It's a low vibration, similar to what Jose felt years ago. But this time, the rhythm is different. It is steady. It is disciplined. Wang looks at his sonar. The screen is screaming red. He looks to the horizon and the blood drains from his face. Breaking through the morning mist is the shape that Wang has never seen flying this flag. It is sleek. It is gray. It is a predator of the deep. It is a modern destroyer moving at 30 knots, cutting the water with surgical precision. This is not a second-hand cutter donated by the West Coast Guard. This is not a rusted relic from World War II. This is state-of-the-art. Stealth coding, vertical launch systems, phased array radar. Wang shouts to his crew, panic cracking his voice. "Pull the nets! Move! Move!" But it is too late. The ship is upon them. The wake turbulence hits Wang's trawler. The massive wall of water tosses his boat like a plastic toy in a bathtub. Wang falls to his knees, clutching the railing, staring up in terror at the steel cliff rushing past him. And as the ship passes, creating a wind that whips Wang's face, the camera zooms in on the hull. The steel is clean, the paint is fresh, and the letters stand out in proud, high-contrast white. B.R.P. Lapu-Lapu, destroyer class, made in Subic, Republic of the Philippines. The table has flipped. The same industrial power that once drowned Jose is now the force that terrifies the intruder. The sleeping giant has woken up, and it remembers exactly who it is. They say the Philippines is a small nation. They say you are weak. But they forgot one crucial detail of history. Small nations don't build the galleons that cross the Pacific. Small nations don't build the hulls that carry the world's commerce. Only giants do that. I'm Lalamulu. See you in the next catch.